She loved me, completely, trusted me with her whole life. And I killed her. Not with a gun, not with my hands. I killed her with one small, polite word I used almost every day. Tomorrow. My name is Arthur. I am 72 years old. On paper, I am what people like to call successful. I have a few awards that used to matter in my field. I have a house that could be on the cover of some glossy magazine. There is a number in my bank account that starts with the word million. And yet, sitting here, right now, I am bankrupt. Not financially. I am a life bankrupt. I wasted my life. If you are about to close this, hear just this one thing. Before you waste another year of your life the way I did, stay with me for a little while. Because if you are anything like I was at 30, you are holding the same weapon I held. The word tomorrow. There is one day I would give everything I own to go back to. Every dollar, every award, every building with my name hidden on a plaque. It was a Tuesday in the late 1990s. I will tell you what I did, or rather, what I did not do on that day. But first you need to understand how an ordinary, decent man can slowly, politely destroy the one person who loves him most. This photograph was taken when I was about 25. We had just gotten married. Her name was Eleanor. Look at her smile. She is standing in front of a little rental house with peeling paint and crooked steps, and she is glowing like it is a palace. I remember exactly what I told her that day. I pointed at the picture, at us, and I said, "One day I am going to build you a house by the lake. Big windows, morning light on the water. We will drink coffee there every day, just you and me, I promise." I was a young architect then, hungry, talented, or at least that is what everyone told me. I believed them. We had nothing really. Hand-me-down furniture, second-hand car that stalled when it rained. But it did not matter because we had that word, someday. Someday, when my career takes off. Someday, when the big contract comes in. Someday, when things settle down. Do you hear yourself in that? At first, Eleanor loved to hear me talk about it. She would bring me little sketches from magazines. A porch here, a window seat there. "For our house, see," she would say, and I would kiss her on the forehead and say, "Soon. I just need to get through this next project." Then the next project came, and another. In my 30s, the game really began. I started working in New York, then Chicago. Big clients, big egos, big glass towers. I was good at it, very good. People like me are dangerous when we are good at something, because the world claps, and inside our ego stands up and bows and says, again, louder. I like to tell myself I was not like the other guys. I was not mean. I did not cheat. I did not drink. I brought home a good paycheck. I was a provider. When Eleanor would say, "Arthur, can we take a weekend and go somewhere, just you and me?" I would open my calendar and sigh and say, "I am so sorry, honey. This client is on my neck. Once we finish this building, we will take a whole week, I promise." And because I felt guilty, I bought things. A necklace instead of a walk in the park. A new car instead of a slow breakfast. Flowers delivered to her office instead of my actual presence at dinner. I honestly believed that made me a good husband, maybe even a great one. Busy, yes, but for the right reasons. I told myself a story over and over. I am doing this for us. If you are always saying that, listen carefully to the rest of this. There was a point, maybe when I was around 40, when Eleanor stopped asking. She stopped saying, "When can we get away?" She stopped leaving travel brochures on my desk, stopped circling dates on the calendar. Have you ever noticed that? At first they complain, then they negotiate, then they go quiet. I mistook her silence for support. I thought it meant she understood, that she believed in my dream, that we were still on the same team. Only much later did I realize what it really meant. She had given up on the idea that I would ever choose her over my work, so she started building a life that did not depend on me showing up. Same house, same marriage on paper, different world. While I was sketching museums and office towers, she was going to book club and visiting her sister and planting a garden I barely noticed. We were living together, but she was alone. I did not see it because I was applauded everywhere else. In the office, I was the golden boy, the guy who stayed latest, whose lights were always on in the corner window when the cleaning staff went home. People would say, half impressed, half concerned, "Arthur, do you ever go home?" And I would laugh and say, "Not until the city is built." They thought it was a joke. So did I. Then came the big one. Every career has that project, the one that will define you. For me, it was a massive complex in downtown Chicago. Mixed use, they called it. Offices, a public plaza, a cultural center. The kind of thing that gets written about, that shows up in documentaries. The client looked me in the eye and said, "You could build a legacy with this." Exhales sharply, "Legacy." That word hit me right in the chest. I said yes before I even went home to talk to Eleanor. Those next 5 years are a blur in my memory. Early flights, late nights, meetings where no one remembered what daylight felt like. My life was schedules and models and glass and concrete. At home, Eleanor started getting tired. At first it was small. She would say, "I am just a little worn out. I think I am getting old." We joked about it. She was only in her 50s. Old seemed far away. She went to the doctor for some tests. I did not go with her the first time. I had a meeting. Here it is. That Tuesday. It was a gray, forgettable day. I was in a conference room, walls of glass, models of the building on the table. We were arguing about columns and budgets. My phone buzzed. I looked down. It was Eleanor. I hit decline and sent a message. "In a meeting. Call you later?" She wrote back, "Doctor found something. Can you come?" And I stared at that little line of text. I remember exactly what went through my head. If I leave now, this meeting will go off the rails. The client will be offended. I can call her in an hour. It is probably nothing. So I wrote, "I cannot get away right now. We will talk tonight. Love you." That is the day I would sell my life to redo. Not because I could have cured her by being there, but because that was the day I told her, as clearly as if I had shouted it, "The building is more important than you." She never said that. She never accused me. When I got home, she smiled, like always, and said, "It is probably fine. They just want to run more tests." But something in her eyes had changed. Exhales sharply. She knew where she was on my list. The diagnosis came a few weeks later. Cancer, aggressive, fast. And my laptop. Always my laptop. Open on the little rolling table beside her bed. I would sit there, one hand holding hers, eyes on my screen, answering emails about glass suppliers and ventilation systems. I told myself a story. These bills are going to be insane. I need to keep working to take care of her. I need to finish this project so, if the worst happens, she is financially secure. It sounded noble, responsible, adult. It was a lie. The truth is, I did not know how to stop. Work had become my drug, my comfort, my identity. Sitting in silence with her, really looking at her, really facing the fact that she might die, was unbearable. So I hid in my inbox. I was not brave enough to be fully present for the person I loved. One afternoon, near the end, I had to fly to Chicago for what they called a critical presentation. We were close to final approval on the design. All the big names were going to be there. City officials, investors, people who could make or break the project. Eleanor squeezed my hand when I told her I needed to go. She said, "Of course you have to. This is your dream, Arthur. I will be here when you get back." That was her way, always making it easy for me to choose myself. I kissed her. I told her I would only be gone one day, that I would call, I did not know it would be the last time I saw her conscious. In Chicago, they put me on a stage in front of a huge screen. Models of the building were lit up under glass. Cameras, applause. This was everything I had worked for. I could feel it. They handed me a microphone. I started talking about light and space and community. I could do that speech in my sleep. Halfway through, my phone started to vibrate in my pocket. Once, twice, again. I knew who it probably was, and I knew what it would look like if I pulled out my phone and answered it in front of all these important people. So I did what I had trained myself to do. I ignored it. The applause at the end of that presentation was the loudest of my career. People stood. They shook my hand. They said words like genius and visionary. I smiled for the cameras, my phone buzzing like a trapped insect in my pocket. When I finally stepped off stage and found a quiet corner, I pulled it out. 9 miss. D calls from the hospital, from our daughter Sarah. I called back. A nurse picked up. Her voice was gentle, professional, too calm. Exhales sharply. Mr. Hayes, I am so sorry. Your wife's condition worsened very suddenly. We have been trying to reach you. I do not really remember the rest of that conversation. I just remember one phrase. She is gone. Gasps. The line went quiet. The room around me blurred. Some colleague was still talking about skylines and awards, and I was standing there with a dead phone in my hand. Later that week, they gave me a major award in my field. Think of it as the film industry's big night out, but for architects. Black tie, long speeches, tiny gold statue. I stood on that stage, under hot lights, holding that little piece of metal. I looked out at the crowd and saw nothing. I thanked people I barely knew. I said the words you were supposed to say. I mentioned my wonderful late wife, and the whole room made a sad noise. Afterward, a chauffeur opened the door of a car for me, put the award on the seat beside me. I stared at it all the way home. In the taxi, the driver asked, "Big night, huh?" I said, "Yeah, big night." When we pulled up to my perfect empty house, I got out of the car. I left the award on the back seat. The driver shouted, "Sir, you forgot your trophy." I just kept walking. He called after me again. I did not turn around. That is how much that legacy was worth to me then. Inside the house, everything was in its place. Eleanor always kept it there that way. Her slippers were still by the side of the bed. Her mug was on the kitchen shelf. There was a faint smell of her lotion in the bathroom. I made myself a cup of coffee. I stood in the kitchen she had chosen tile by tile, and I listened. Whispers. Do you know what an empty house sounds like? It is not silence. It is echo. I put my cup down on the counter, and the sound bounced around the room, too loud, like I was in a museum. I walked through the rooms we had never really used together, the big window seat looking out over the yard, the reading nook she had wanted, where I had always planned to sit with her someday and share quiet mornings. There was a drawer in her bedside table I had never looked into. I opened it. Inside were little things, a dried flower, a note I had written to her years ago, and a folded, worn brochure. On the front, a picture of a small cabin by a lake, wooden deck, 2 chairs facing the water. I opened it. Dates circled in pen over the years, summer after summer, little notes in her handwriting. Ask Arthur? Maybe next year. She had kept that brochure for decades, waiting for me to make good on one simple promise. I sat on the floor of our bedroom and cried in a way I did not know grown men could cry. Not because she was gone. That grief was there, huge and black, but because I finally saw, with perfect clarity, what I had done with my one life. I had built skyscrapers for strangers. I had not built a life with the one person who mattered. All those tomorrows I had used like loose change were gone. There was no someday left. In the weeks after the funeral, the office kept calling. There were still decisions to make. The project in Chicago moved forward. The world does not stop for your heartbreak. One night, I gathered my favorite drawings. The original sketches of that big complex. some other designs that had won competitions. The work I was most proud of, if you had asked me a year earlier. I took them out to the backyard. I built a small fire in the grill. One by one, I fed those drawings to the flame. I watched the lines and angles and elevations curl and blacken and disappear. It was not dramatic. No neighbors called the police. It was just an old man burning paper in the dark. But for me, it was the first honest act I had done in years. I was done worshiping at that altar. Within a year, I sold my share of the firm. People said I was crazy, that I was at the peak of my powers, that I could still do so much. They did not understand. I had finally realized that the buildings I made would outlive me, but they would not hold me. They would not visit me in the hospital. They would not laugh at my dumb jokes or remember how I took my coffee. You cannot hug a skyscraper. I moved out of the house I had designed like a magazine spread. I bought a small, plain cottage not far from where my daughter lives. No dramatic staircase, no fancy sight lines, just a kitchen, a living room, a little patch of yard. It is the only house I have ever really lived in. Size, I started working with my hands in a different way. Woodworking, simple things, a shelf, a stool, a little wooden horse I carved for my grandson. It is crooked if you look closely. One leg is a bit shorter than the others. He loves it. Because I was there when I made it. I was present, laughing with him, letting him play with the sandpaper, getting sawdust on the floor. Not later, not someday, now. My daughter Sarah did not forgive me right away. Why would she? Her memories of childhood are full of me leaving, of empty seats at school concerts, of me on the phone during birthday dinners, finger in the air mouthing, "Just 1 second." One evening, a couple of years after Eleanor died, Sarah and I sat at my little kitchen table. The kids were in bed. The house was quiet. She looked at me and said, very calmly, "You know, Dad, when I was little, I thought you were a superhero. You were always off to fix something important. A building, a meeting, a client." She took a breath. "Then I realized you were just not home. Ever. Mom used to sit at the window and watch for your car. Sometimes she would fall asleep on the couch waiting. I stopped waiting long before she did. I wanted to defend myself, to say, 'I did it for you.' The words were right there. Then I heard how hollow they would sound. So I did something I had never really done with her. I told the truth. 'I did not do it for you,' I said. 'I did it for me, for my ego, for how it felt when people clapped. I thought money and success would make up for it. I was wrong. I am so sorry.' We both cried. Two adults in a small kitchen, finally saying what had been unsaid for decades. That conversation did not erase the past. There is no magic sentence that does that. But it was the first brick in something new. Now my days are simple. I walk in the park. I make things out of wood. I pick up my grandkids from school. I listen to my daughter talk about her own worries. I cook badly and we laugh about it. From the outside, someone might say I have downsized my life. They have no idea. I have never lived so large. So why am I telling you all this? Because the most painful thing about my story is not unique. I am not some monster. I was not trying to hurt anyone. I was trying to be a good man, the way the world defines it. Work hard, provide, leave a legacy. Here is what I know now. That version of success, without presence, without love, is just a very fancy form of loneliness. I was the architect of my own solitude. I designed a life so full of walls and glass and steel that there was no room left for the people I claimed to be doing it all for. I built my own prison and called it a career. People talk a lot about delayed gratification. Save now, enjoy later, work now, live later. There is some truth there, but there is a dark side that no one warns you about. The syndrome of postponed happiness is a kind of slow suicide. Every time you say, We will go next year. I will play with you on the weekend. We will take that trip when things calm down. You are not just planning, you are killing something small. A moment that could have been lived right then. Someday is a disease that will kill your real life while you are busy building an imaginary one. Let me put this in numbers for you, since old architects like numbers. If you are around 30 and you live to around 80, you get about 2,500 weekends in your whole life. That is it. 2,500 little 2-day windows when you are not at work. By 30, you have already spent maybe 1,000 of them. Many you barely remember. How many more are you willing to trade for emails and scrolling and pretending you are still catching up on something that never ends? Right now, as you watch this, there is someone in your world who is waiting for, or you. Maybe it is a partner sitting on the couch, half watching a show, half glancing at the door, wondering what time you will come home. Maybe it is a kid who has stopped asking you to play because you always say you are busy. Maybe it is a parent who would light up just to get a phone call that lasts more than 3 minutes. You tell yourself you are doing this for them. Let me be harsh, because no one was harsh with me when it might have mattered. You are not doing it for them. You are doing it for you. For the feeling you get when your boss says you are indispensable. For the little hit in your chest when you see your name on an email, or a building, or a project. Busy is not a badge of honor. It is a shield. It keeps you from having to look at the parts of your life that are not working. It keeps you from feeling awkward, or vulnerable, or bored. But every hour you hide in your busyness is an hour someone you love spends waiting. And they do not have endless hours. Eleanor's later ended in a hospital room on a day that I chose a microphone over her hand. I do not want that for you. So here is my question. What are you building? A resume or a memory? A portfolio of achievements that strangers will glance at for 2 seconds? Or a handful of stories your kids or your friends will tell with a lump in their throat and a smile on their face when you are gone? The buildings I made will be knocked down someday, replaced, renovated, forgotten. The only real legacy I have is the look in my grandson's eyes when he sees me at the school gate and runs toward me. It is my daughter calling me just to chat, not because something is wrong. It is the way I still talk to Eleanor when I sit on a bench like this, holding this old photograph, telling her about the ducks on the pond and the way the leaves look this year. Thoughtful. You still have time to choose differently. Maybe not unlimited time. You do not know how many Tuesdays you have left, but you have this one, this day, this evening, this weekend. What you do with it is the clearest statement you will ever make about what actually matters to you. So, here is my request. When this ends, do not let it be just another sad story you watched, nodded at, and then scrolled past. Do one small, concrete thing. Close your laptop a little earlier than usual. Put your phone in a drawer. Walk into the next room and sit beside the person who has been living on your leftovers. Tell them, I have been wrong. I want to do better. Can we go for a walk? Can we plan that trip? Can we have dinner without screens? If you do not have someone like that, call the person you have been meaning to call for months. The old friend, your dad, your sister. If you are alone, go outside. Look up. Feel the air. Start investing in the life you can touch, not just the one on a screen. I know how this platform works. This is the part where I am supposed to tell you to click on another video, to keep you here, to feed the machine. I am not going to do that. If you switch this off right now and go hug your wife or your kid or your mom, and this video disappears into the bottom of the internet with almost no views, that will be a victory. One more thing before I let you go. Do not wait for a catastrophe to wake you up. Do not wait for a doctor to say the word cancer. Pause. Do not wait for a phone call you ignore to be the last one. You do not need my tragedy to borrow wisdom from it. You can decide, quietly, without drama, that you are done trading real life for shiny lies. You can choose to build something small and honest instead of something vast and empty. A simple breakfast together, a regular phone call, a walk by a real lake, not the screensaver on your laptop. I wasted my life trying to leave a mark on the world. Turned out, the only mark that mattered was the one I left on the hearts of the people closest to me. For too long, that mark was a bruise. You still have time to make yours a blessing. Do not say tomorrow, say now. All right,